What's up, y'all? It's your boy Mighty Moth here, back with another video.
Still no
Uh,
recording.
I apologize, I haven't really been uploading as much content as I would like to. I'm kind of in between facilities right now at a
Dude, that was
job, so
way
it's
through
kind
the
of,
tunnel.
I can't make heads or tails of where I'm going to be, what my schedule is, but I think I got it figured out and we're going to be more consistent now. I've been having fun playing Wind Dancer on a Warbringer, basically still shouting, still doing our thing. And I think the ability to blow the corpses up and constantly Infernal Cry to use Raging Cry to keep our rage up, which amplifies the damage of Wind Dancer, I think it really synergizes well. But I want to talk about changes that were made. For one, I think a concern was the looking off into the distance of your map, right? And if you know it's not the best, then you just want to get through it. Well, here, I had a bunch of citadels. I had 3 copper citadels right here. I did this one, and then I left the other 2 because they said they were changing it to where they spawned next to each other. And when I went back in, I couldn't see the other citadels that were there that I could previously have seen in the distance. So their way of solving the issue of if you know it's the best before you get there, then you just want to get through it. Instead of making it better with the tower situation, they just made it to where you couldn't see as far to know if there was towers there or not. So somehow that made it better. I don't know. But the Citadel fix is crazy. I left those 2 Citadels there and it generated like, I don't know, a lot. And there's got to be more iron Citadels there because I've only found 2 that I could count, and I've got like 4 or 5 coppers and 3 or 4 stones. So there's got to be some more irons in there as well. But as far as changes that have been made, like I said, I didn't see that in the patch notes, but up here I had a copper citadel as well, and it's gone. It's no longer there, but I'm sure it's there. I can no longer see it now, so I need to travel that way to get it. But another change that I don't know that they fixed, the crafting seems kind of better. Like oddly better. Like we're kind of hitting on a lot of items. Now, on this one, I had a failed attempt of T1, T1, T1. So I had saved up a few, and boom, we hit a T2, T1. So
Why didn't it?
naturally, we're going to roll this, and we're going to pray that it goes well.
Regeneration brew.
But it does not. So what do? We go back into the old recombo pile, and we try to find another one. We're looking, and eventually we find one, and we go back to the recombinator. Now, if it wasn't enough that I hit with a T1 and a T2, both prefixes, this is crazy. So now, mind you, I have tried dozens of times to make a hammer with like a 50% chance, and none of them have ever hit. They've never like recomboed for anything good. But for some reason, I have a lot of success with the chest pieces. I know this clip runs a little bit long, but I just want you guys to see the thought process. I'm, looking for certain mods that I think go together, and we finally find one. We're like, okay, this is good. We're going to use these. Even though it's not an ideal base, if this would have hit on a vile robe, it would have been crazy. But, pardon me, while this goes, I'm just going to take a little drink. Trying to do this in one take. The editing just takes too long. So, we have a T3%, a T2 max, and a T1 split. And boom, we hit again, back to back. Now,
1, 2, 3.
I have a theory that if you quality socket
Now you gotta have faith in it.
and put a rune in, well, quality and socket before you even roll the rest of it,
You got the
it'll
socket.
roll better. That wasn't necessarily the case here, but it has worked for me in the past, and I'm superstitious, so that's what I practice.
Triple res.
But boom, we hit fire res and two basically non-existent stats. So obviously we could have whittled it. It was probably worth whittling maybe, but the base no one really likes. So I said, fuck it, valid. Boom! We hit another socket, and that gets us just up over 900.
Almost a guap.
So now
We need it to change the
I've been
bottom up to
crafting these
roughly
energy shield
360.
boots, and you would be surprised. No movement speed, and they sell. Like, if you can get
Hey!
400 energy shield on a pair of boots, they should sell. They preferably would have like multiple resistances on the bottom or like an astronomical amount of stun threshold, what something. This tiara, pretty good high max life roll, decent energy shield on these. It's kind of hard to get really up there, but we ended with I think it's like 360 something and 170 max life with two resistances. So we're happy with this. That's another solid craft. This ring,
Okay.
we lightning essenced, lightning greater essence of electricity, and just rolled, boom, dext, int, cold res, accuracy, lightning damage, lightning damage. Pretty
Is
decent.
there a unique amethyst charm?
Now, I was wondering,
If so, I don't have it.
I had never seen one before,
Nice!
but we hit. Oh, that's cool. And then, of
Come on,
course,
give me
we
a chance
find a
first.
dowsing charm, and I said, fuck it. What do you know?
Oh!
Two for two, back to back.
We did it!
So I think the chances of chancing something have gone up. But what I've noticed with all the changes, all the socketables, all the things, war cries are still left out. This is the only way to scale your war cry gem level is the prism of belief. It's not affected by melee skills. It's not affected by minion skills. It's not affected by spell skills. It's not affected by projectile skills. So, like every other skill in the game has a category that it fits in. It's either gonna, it's either a spell, a melee, or a ranged projectile attack. And some of them are projectiles and spells, so you can kind of like take your pick. If it's also a projectile and it happens to be a spell, or you're looking for an amulet, you're like, okay, well, I'll go with this one because it has everything else I want and projectile skills instead of spell skills. But with war cries, you can't really up your damage any other way but Prism of Belief. And there's no other damage, like Warcry damage increases. There's ones for increased damage for each time you Warcry, but there's only one small section that gives you Warcry damage. So you're stuck with percent physical or, excuse me, or area of effect damage, stuff like that. So what we've been doing is, and if you follow along, I'm showing you the differences in damages, and it's like astronomical. Plus 3 gem level gives you, you go from like 300 to 450 on the skill itself, and it goes from like 1300 to 2000. And then if you use this wand tech, which I have gain extra damage as fire and lightning, and then percent increased fire damage. And then our ring has percent increased fire damage, corrupted with increased damage. And then we're going to throw on another ring with percent increased lightning damage and fire damage. This is like the only way you can work around gaining any damage, and it's still only going to hit for 3,000 something. Now, mind you, with Deepest Tower, you can finesse a little bit more damage in there. It could be it's very viable for mapping. It's extremely good for mapping. But bosses, You just cannot get enough damage. So we're thinking about throwing on one of those new scepters with the Tempest Shrine, and we're going to try and go full shout, but we lose a lot of damage on our shouts from not having the wand. So it's a little tough, but none of the socketables really are directed at shouts. Like, none of the new stuff are directed at shouts. Nothing is, I don't know, they just feel like they don't fit in anywhere but as like a utility skill. But the Warbringer's entire ascendancy is around being defensive and shouting. But there's just nothing that helps shouts. So that would be like my main concern is that they need to pay a little bit more attention to war cries, or they need to give you like four more war cry skills so that you can take advantage of the node that says 20% increased damage for each different war cry you use. There's only two of them. So like cool, you get 40% increased damage, but when you the only way to increase its damage is by getting increased damage. Once you hit that first 100%, it really falls off like that increased that 20% doesn't do a lot. Now the 8% for each time you war cry, that's pretty good. You get enough war cry speed, you can really stack up some damage. But it's mainly just a war cry to then load up a Hammer of the Gods or a Sunder to do incredible amounts of damage. But all in all, I would say the patch was a success. I feel like the new socketables are pretty solid. Still haven't seen an omen in a ritual like a good omen, so maybe those could use tweaked a little bit. The divine drops seem like it's okay. I did find one of the new uniques already in like the first, I don't know, 5 days of it being released. But I don't know. There's a lot of work to be done still, but I think they're on the right track. Those are just my main thoughts and concerns. I don't understand the fix with just limiting your field of view in the fog to fix the issue of, well, I already know it's not going to be that good over here, so I'm going to avoid it. So now you have to run it in order to know. Like, you don't know until you know, you know? So you have to run in every direction. Like, oh, there's no towers out here. Why would I go there? Well, there's no towers anywhere until you get close enough now. I had one, there was a tower here, and there was nothing. Then I did a map, and there was a tower right next to it, but you couldn't see it. So, I don't know. I guess it's kind of cool because you get like a level of excitement where you're like, oh, I just revealed four towers in this area, but then of course there's no maps in the middle of these four towers. It's like a fucking mountain range or water or something. I don't know. They need to figure out a way to either take the juicing away from the tablets or maybe have the tablets like become a part of your character. So like your character can have 6 tablets put in and it affects whatever map you run. So you always get those 6 tablets. And then the towers are like additional and you can reduce the amount of towers that spawn in an area if you want, or reduce the amount of overlapping because you'll always have 3 towers at least because you have 2 towers worth of precursor tablets on you. So like, oh, I run this map, it's always going to be a breach. If I want to run exclusively breaches, it's always breaches. Like, I don't know, something like that. Maybe that's not the right fix. I probably don't know better than GGG knows. But I would just like to see some love to the Warbringer, to the shouts, to mace skills, or just give us axes and swords already. Like, the half the passives that actually give the warrior damage without having downsides are attached to swords, axes, and flails, and we can't use them. All the mace shit, downsides, reduced attack speed, like just crazy downsides for some reason. But I think that's all I got. I'll stop rambling. You already know what it is. You are enough. Stay blessed. And as always, stay mouthy. If you haven't subscribed already, please do. Give this video a like and leave a comment for any of your thoughts and concerns on patch 0.2.1 in the future. We'll see you next time.